Before this vow and distribution of medals, I would like to invite Carrie Coleman to say a couple words about our Educator of the Year, Tom McLaughlin.
Hey, y'all. I've known Mr. McLaughlin for over 15 years when I first taught his nephew at De La Salle North Catholic. And so we go way back. And when I think about Mr. Mac, I think about his booming voice, the kind eyes, his gentleness, his hearty chuckle, and his Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know you missed something if you didn't catch that. And he always knows how to give a textbook bear hug. When he asks you, how you doing, you know he's sincere and that he will actually listen to you. There's so much to love about our Mac that a 2-minute introduction cannot fully describe the beauty and magnitude of this human's presence in our lives. Tom embodies the spirit and essence of St. LaSalle, and it was Providence that led him to us. Tom has always been Lasallian, and his commitment to students and their intellectual and spiritual development, his ability to make Catholicism and world religions accessible to all. He is our ultimate evangelizer, as witnessed in the gospel today. His joy and witness to the gospel's life that is lived for others. And I ask that you today, as we leave this church at this Baccalaureate Mass, that we leave to serve. He creates an environment where all are welcome to the table, where all are deserving, where all are loved. Mac lives by example, not by words, though he is a writer, y'all know that, right? And it is his commitment to social justice that continues to inspire and challenge me to be the best Lasallian educator possible. From the Rule of the Brothers of the Christian Schools in Article 29 says, quote, in the light of the gospel, the Christian brothers always keep in mind the promotion of justice and the direct or indirect service of the poor, the economically poor, the victims of social injustice, delinquents, and those excluded from society, which is the preferred option of their ministry of education, end quote. Tom, you are truly Lasallian. Your commitment to equity, inclusion, and justice provides an example for what it means to serve Jesus and to serve others. You practice what you preach. You're an advocate and an ally. You are love. You are service. You are good trouble. One day when I grow up, I hope to be half as brave, honorable, and humble as you. Thank you, Mr. Mac, for being a part of our lives. It is a better world because you are in it. Thank you for demonstrating what it means to leave to serve. You have always been a Lasallian educator, and now we're just making it official. I'd like to introduce to you the Lasallian Educator of the Year, Mr. Tom McLaughlin.
I invite you to take a deep breath. take this off now, right? We are gathered on the sacred and ancestral lands of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, the Chinook, the Kalapuya, and many other First Peoples, and I pay respects to their elders past and present. I could spend my 5 minutes speaking thank yous to people like Carrie, and barely begin the recitation of names and gifts when the bell would ring us to next. I'll speak my love to them another time and spend my remaining 4 minutes and 45 seconds with you. For 4 years, we have gathered with descendants of the Aztec, Maya, Inca, the Lakota, Kalapuya, Tlingit, with descendants of Ethiopia, Congo, Sudan, of Vietnam, Korea, China, descendants of Celts, Croats, Vikings, of Persians, Syrians, Lebanese, and many more. What an abundance of cultural brilliance we have dancing through our veins of this body. Despite the divisions among us, tonight I touch the earth and claim we are one. We are beauty. We are love. I know this in my bones because I've encountered someone, something, mystery. I have no words splendiferous enough to communicate my in-loveness. This love emboldens me to declare, what happens out there begins in here, in here, in here. Whenever I am divided in myself, a barrier grows in my heart, and a wall rises out there on some illusory border between you, me, and we. Consider. My 16-year-old self survived the assault of a darkened, twisted, tortured soul. But for 3 decades after, as my deeper, untended wounds festered, my hurt inflicted pain on others, even as my love fostered healing in others. At last, in the sacred space of my imagination, I reunited with that boy I had been once upon a time. In that embrace, awareness dawned that for 30 years, I had hated and blamed that boy. Shame shredded my gut. Unable to stand the shock, betrayal, sadness, shame, rage surging through him during that attack, part of my 16-year-old soul fled, and I abandoned him to that isolation. But grief has its own gravity. It pulled me unrelenting and exhausted my will to wrestle any longer with the love that moves the sun and the other stars, which for me is to live. Yet love is stronger than grief. I began composting the shock, betrayal, sadness, shame, rage, and grew fields of compassion. Having been scarred in despair's depths, when my black brothers and sisters say he puts his wallet on the dashboard before he backs out of his driveway, she tells her sons not to run in their own neighborhood, I believe them. And my shock, betrayal, sadness, shame, rage erupts as Black Lives Matter. When my Vietnamese student fears for grandma's safety because of hate spewing through social media, when my Latinx sister loses count of how many times she has heard, go back to your own country, when my indigenous neighbor still aches from nightmares inflicted at an Indian school when a 16-year-old prophet kneels during the anthem to call us to be our best selves, when my Muslim friend fears going to mosque for Jummah prayers, when my LGBTQ sibling does not feel wholly welcome in a worship space that declares their nature disordered, I believe them. Love bursts from the ground of my being, soars through my scars, and I stand with them. We must explore our personal histories. The light, yes, and the shadow, which is to enter the wound. Otherwise, pain multiplies exponentially in here, which is out there. We must brave Dante's Inferno, the mountain of purgatory, and in so doing, we compost the ugly and create beauty. To grow beauty for all. Nothing is wasted, and no one. That is metanoia. We are born again. You entered room 117. I said, consider this. And you said, what about that? A star was born. I said, I know something. And you said, tell me. You said, I know something. I said, tell me. More stars exploded from nothingness to join in our spiral dance. You left my room and said, thank you. You leave my presence tomorrow, and I thank you. Wrapped within gratitude is, I love you. I love you. Your love spirals with mine. Beauty is born again. We are love.